Welcome to Business Law 101. This is Attorney Lu. Today I'll be discussing with you how REITs work. So what is a REIT? Real estate investment trusts or REITs are essentially the products of the following two laws. The first one is the Real Estate Investment Trust Act of 1960s. It, for the first time in the history of the United States, began to allow the general public to investment in and profit from indirect ownership in commercial real properties. And there are generally two categories of REITs. The first category is that you hold equity interest in a REIT that owns and operates later on commercial real properties. And another is the so-called mortgage REITs, the REITs that buys and holds and sells mortgage interest in real properties. And the second law is the Tax Reform Act of 1986. It gives REITs the ability to operate and manage real estate projects rather than passively owning it or financing it. So REITs do have unique tax advantages. Unlike most corporations, especially the public traded corporations, a REIT pays no corporate income taxes if it distributes, to the extent it distributes the income to its shareholders. Shareholders will need to pay ordinary income taxes on such distribution, that is essentially cash dividends from the REITs. Unless shareholders put their REIT shares and the dividend they got on account of those shares in tax-exempt accounts or tax-deferred accounts, such as their retirement IRA accounts. So there are quite a few legal requirements you can imagine for a REIT to comply with to get the tax benefits. And you can pretty much figure out that all those requirements are structured to frustrate and prevent, corporations trying to take advantage of the tax benefit if they do not really own or real properties as their main business. So first off, the ownership structure requirements. Beginning with the second taxable year, a REIT must have at least 100 shareholders. And the top 5 individual shareholders cannot own more than 50% of the value of REIT stock during the last half of its taxable year. So they have developed these intricate attribution rules to prevent people from taking advantage of, to abuse the tax benefits. The attribution rules require the REIT to look through corporations, partnership, trust, or estate to the ultimate beneficiary owners, shareholders, and partners or beneficiaries. And each individual is assumed to own all shares owned by their brothers, sisters, spouses, ancestors, and lineal descendants, such that you could not, use your siblings and spouses and parents and children sort of to set up otherwise actually closely held corporation and try to sort of benefit from the tax advantages for REITs. And there are also legal requirements with respect to the assets, revenue, and net incomes of REITs. 75% of the assets of REITs measured each quarter must be real estate assets. They could be the real property itself. Nowadays, it could be hotels, it could be cell phone towers, could be malls, could be warehouses. And also, it could be mortgages, meaning the loans secured by real properties. And at least 70% of its annual gross revenue must come from real estate related income, such as rent, and in the case of a hotel, right, whatever you call it, the revenue from operating the hotel, or interest from real estate loans, mortgages, right? At REIT, must pay out at least 90% of its net income to its shareholders. Any undistributed income will be subject to corporate income tax just like regular corporations. And then a little bit about the sort of interface between REITs and security laws. There are, in that aspect, there are generally three categories of REITs, right? There are private REITs, REITs that are only generally available to accredited investors. They are the securities, the ownership of the REITs as the securities are not registered with the SEC, and there are no reporting obligations for the REITs. And then there are SEC registered but not public traded REITs. Because they comply with the security laws in terms of the disclosure and reporting obligations, they are made available to the general public. But the equity interest, your ownership interest in the REIT are not public traded. And then there are third kind of REITs, they are public traded REITs. And they have to agree, they have to comply with and comport with the requirements that I have just described in this video, but they are otherwise similar to other public traded shares. This is just a brief introduction to REITs. If you are interested, you're welcome to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.